So why do we get stuck as artists? But more importantly, how do we get unstuck so we can move on? And this is a big conversation. One, we just finished filming an entire deeper masterclass lesson for this in my private online membership called The Abstracted Artist. And if you're interested in diving deeper into that, there'll be a link below for a waitlist for my next live workshop and opening of The Abstracted Artist. I just do it a few times a year, but we'll let you know when it's open. In the meantime, let me just go over a couple of big ones here. So why do we get stuck to begin with? Well, fear of the unknown, fear of wondering if we can do it, fear of so many things, even fear of succeeding, if you can believe that. A couple of the other big ones here were perfectionism, overjudging ourselves. And so that kind of falls underneath that category, I personally think, because we judge and we're very harsh and critical on ourselves because we're afraid that we're not good enough, which is not the case. But disconnecting from ourselves and our emotions, and that's how we end up getting these paintings that fall really flat. And then we're like, ugh, I just don't know what to do. How do I make it feel more alive, right? That's all having to do with disconnecting from ourselves. And then overwhelm and emotional weight are big ones. And if you think about major life changes, or even COVID, what we all went through was a really traumatic experience. And some of us are still carrying that around because of how severely it affected our families. So just things like that even, it all transcends over into our art or blocks us from making art. And that's how we stay stuck. Those are just some of the big reasons. But let's take a minute and talk about how do we get unstuck. I'm going to go through, I have, there's like 12 different things here, but I'm going to try to hit as many as I can. Now let's talk about some of the practical ways to get unstuck, which is what we all really want to know. First, we have to change the energy, our energy. And it could be as simple as I'm in the middle of a painting, and let's say I've got this dud of a painting right here, and I just don't know where I'm going with it, or it doesn't feel good. The first thing I'll do is either flip it on its side or flip it all the way around. And it forces me to change the energy on it. And then it's like giving myself a little foot tap. And it usually helps me to get going again. I'll work on multiple paintings at one time, and that is also a great way, because just when you should let this one painting dry, often if we don't have something else to work on, we're overworking it, and then we get into trouble. Best way to avoid it is have 4 to 6 paintings going at one time. You can move on while they dry, which is what they should be doing, and then we come back and evaluate. Another great thing to do, well, maybe easier said than done, but a big thing to do is to get back into that right mindset, because that's where all the trouble begins. And it relates to our fears and all the reasons we get stuck. But if we can have a little process on, okay, I'm coming into my studio, I need to consciously get back into the mindset of, I'm an artist. This is what I do. And what do I want to do? What is my intention with this blah of a painting? I lost it. So what did I want to do with it? What did I want to feel? Can I get back to that place of what I want to feel? And then start. Don't just come in and anything goes. You're going to stay just as lost or make it worse. Think first, how do I drop back into that feeling I want to have when I look at this? We got to release negative energy. So if we are feeling irritable or anything that is less than the energy we need to feel in our studio, we've got to find a way to release it. Whether it be through exercise, leaving our studio, walking, going for a beautiful walk in nature. Maybe some of you have other passions like culinary arts or something totally different. Sometimes we have to take a break. We then need to reconnect with our emotion, right? So we've got all these things we've got to do. Removing the pressure of, oh, I've got to create something beautiful. Limiting our choices of palette colors. Sometimes we choose too many and it just makes us even more confused. We have to reconnect with play. And that goes with the not judging our part, which is a main cause of getting stuck. We just get in this hamster wheel and want to judge ourselves. It's never good enough. It's never this. And we get too critical. And we'll never move on if we stay there. We need to sometimes, getting into some of the bigger things is, depending on how heavy, we got to talk it out with somebody that cares. Or maybe walk away for a period of time, like maybe a week break from the studio and just refill ourselves with other passions. Living with these other passions brings our life more back into balance because we are not a one facet person. We've got multiple areas of our life and they blend. We can't compartmentalize them. And then finally, sometimes, depending on how big the issue is that has us stuck, if it's an emotional heavyweight issue, is we've got to let our art be our therapy and shift gears and maybe release all that energy we don't want to take with us out onto the canvas. It's sort of like a regurgitating of stuff we don't want to carry in our body anymore, in our mind. It takes up space. We need to let it out so that that space is freed up again and we can move on. And all of this leads us to how we can avoid staying stuck on a regular basis. This is something that we definitely work on more in detail and deeper in the Abstracted Artist. But this should really help you get going to just, if anything, open your eyes to some of the areas that you may not have realized. I know I certainly didn't. That were holding me back, keeping me stuck. And if I could get one or two of those going, then I have less reasons to get bogged down with all of that and more opportunity to paint in a way that is more inspiring, at least to myself, full of emotion, and can connect with, at least with me. And I know that if I can do that, chances are other people will connect with it too.